Some quarters you have might be worth a lot of money, up to $9,000. These coins look normal but have special mistakes or designs that make them very rare and valuable. In this video, I will show you how to spot these rare coins, explain why they are worth so much, and share real examples with prices. Even a small difference can turn a quarter into a treasure. Keep watching. First up, let's talk about a coin that might be sitting in your pocket or in an old jar at home, the 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarter. It might look like any other quarter at first, but some of these coins have sold for $3,500, $3,760, and even close to $7,000. Yes, that's right, one single quarter, worth thousands of dollars. Most people think this coin is just regular money, but if you have the right one, you could be holding a small treasure. In this video, we're going to explain why some of these quarters are so valuable, what to look for, and how you might find one for yourself. This special quarter was made to celebrate 200 years of American independence, which is why it shows both dates, 1776 and 1976. That's called the bicentennial. Instead of the normal eagle on the back, this coin has a picture of a colonial drummer with a torch of victory above him. It looks very different from other quarters and is easy to spot. The letter D under the date means the coin was made at the Denver Mint. Now here's the thing, hundreds of millions of these coins were made, so most of them are only worth 25 cents. But a few have special mistakes or are in such perfect condition that collectors will pay a lot of money for them. Some of the rarest and most valuable bicentennial quarters have something called a mint error. One type is called a double die, where the coin is struck more than once and the design looks doubled. You might notice it in the words or numbers. These coins are rare and can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another error is the off-center strike, where the design is printed off to one side. Some of these off-center bicentennial quarters have sold for over $1,800. There are also coins that were stamped on the wrong kind of metal. These are called wrong planchet errors and are very rare. Some of those have sold for thousands too. Another big reason why some of these coins are worth so much is their condition. Coins are graded from MS-60 to MS-70, with MS meaning mint state. A coin graded MS-67 or MS-68 is in almost perfect shape, just like it was when it came from the mint. One bicentennial quarter graded MS-68 sold at auction for $3,760. That's almost $4,000 for one coin. Most coins get scratched, worn down, or dirty from being used every day, but if you find one that looks shiny and new, it could be worth sending to a grading company like PCGS or NGC to see if it's worth big money. There are also silver versions of the bicentennial quarter. These were not made for regular use, but were sold in special collector sets. The silver coins are made of 40% silver, and they look more shiny than regular quarters. If you check the edge of the coin and don't see the usual copper line, it might be silver. Silver bicentennial quarters in great condition can sell for $100 to $500 or even more if they are high grade or have errors. These coins were usually kept by collectors, so they are more likely to be in good shape. Even small flaws like die cracks, cuts, or missing parts of the design can make a coin more valuable. These are all types of mint errors, and some collectors love to find and collect them. People who enjoy coin collecting often go through bank rolls, coin jars, or even yard sale finds hoping to find that one rare coin. You don't need to be an expert, just look closely at your coins, especially if they're older or look a little strange. So if you come across a 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarter, don't just spend it without checking. Look at the date, the mint mark, the edges, and the design. Use a magnifying glass if you have one. Look for signs of doubling, off-center designs, or a coin that just looks extra shiny and clean. You might find a coin that's worth far more than just 25 cents. And if you think it's special, you can always have it looked at by a coin shop or send it for grading. Some people have turned spare change into hundreds or even thousands of dollars, just by knowing what to look for. This coin is a part of American history, and in rare cases, it can be a golden ticket. Keep your eyes open, because the next valuable coin could be right in your hand. Next coin is the 2009 District of Columbia quarter. At first glance, it might look like just another modern coin. But this one has some very interesting details and real value, especially when errors are involved. Some rare versions of this quarter have sold for $300, $600, even up to $810 depending on the condition and type of mistake. It may not seem like much, but turning a 25-cent coin into hundreds of dollars is something most people would love to do. So let's take a closer look at why this quarter is so special, what it shows, and what kinds of errors to watch for. This coin was part of a special set called the DC and U.S. Territories Quarters Program. It was made after the 50-state quarters program ended in 2008. In 2009, the U.S. Mint released 6 new quarters for Washington, D.C. and 5 U.S. territories. The District of Columbia quarter was the first one released that year. It features a famous musician named Duke Ellington, who was born in D.C. and became one of the most important jazz composers in history. On the back of the coin, you can see Duke sitting at a piano, with the words, "Justice for All," written next to him. It's a nice design that honors both music and civil rights. The P mint mark under the word, "In God We Trust," means this coin was made at the Philadelphia Mint. The total mintage was around 88 million coins, so it's not super rare by itself. But what makes some of these coins worth a lot of money are mint errors. One of the most valuable errors found on this coin is when it was struck on the wrong metal blank, also called a wrong planchet error. For example, if this quarter was accidentally struck on a blank meant for a nickel or a dime, it will weigh less and look different. These kinds of errors are very rare and can sell for hundreds of dollars. One of these, wrong planchet, DC quarters sold for $810 at auction. Another type of error that adds value is the off-center strike, where the design is not printed in the middle of the coin. Depending on how far off it is, the coin could be worth between $50 to $300 or more. The more off-center, the higher the value, especially if the date is still visible. Collectors also look for double die errors, where the letters or parts of the image look doubled or blurry. These are hard to see without a magnifying glass, but they are worth checking for. Even small mistakes like die chips, cuds, or extra metal bumps in the design can add value. Condition also plays a big role in how much a coin is worth. Most quarters in your pocket are scratched and worn, but if your DC quarter is shiny and looks brand new, it might be in mint state condition. Coins are graded from MS-60 to MS-70, with MS-70 being perfect. A 2009 P District of Columbia quarter in high grade, such as MS-67 or MS-68, can sell for $50 to $150 even without errors. If it has both a high grade and a rare error, the value can go way up. Collectors often look for these coins in coin rolls from the bank, in change, or even in old collections. The 2009 coins are more modern, so they're still out there and easier to find than older coins. If you have one that looks odd, is lighter or heavier than usual, or has something strange about the design, it's worth looking into. Weighing the coin on a small scale can help spot a wrong planchet error. A normal quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, so if yours is way off from that, it might be something special. To know for sure, you can take it to a local coin shop or send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. They can tell you if your coin is worth keeping, selling, or sending to auction. Even if it's only worth $10 or $20, that's still a lot more than a regular quarter. The 2009 P District of Columbia quarter may not look super rare at first, but with the right mistake or in great condition, it can be worth much more than face value. Always check your change and keep an eye out for Duke Ellington on the back of a quarter. You never know when you might find one of the rare ones. Our third coin is the 2000 D South Carolina State quarter, and this one is a real eye-catcher when it comes to rare errors and high value. This quarter may look like any other state quarter from your change, but some rare versions of this coin have sold for thousands of dollars. In fact, one special error version of this quarter sold for as much as $9,000. Yes, that's right, $9,000 for just one coin that started out as a regular 25-cent piece. These rare coins are out there, and if you know what to look for, you might just find one in your own pocket or coin jar. The South Carolina quarter was released in the year 2000 as part of the 50 State Quarters program. This program started in 1999 and ran until 2008, releasing 5 new state quarters each year. The South Carolina quarter was the 8th coin in the series. On the back, the coin shows the state outline, a palmetto tree, the Carolina wren, the state bird, the yellow jessamine, the state flower, and a star showing the location of the capital city, Columbia. It's a detailed and beautiful design that represents the history and nature of the state. The D mint mark means this coin was made at the Denver Mint. Over 566 million South Carolina quarters were made at the Denver Mint, so the coin itself is not rare, unless it has a mint error or is in perfect condition. Most coins are only worth face value, but a few have very special mistakes that turn them into valuable collector pieces. The key is knowing what kind of errors make these coins so valuable. One of the most famous and valuable errors for the 2000 D South Carolina quarter is something called a multiple strike error. This means the coin was struck by the minting press more than once, sometimes even several times. These multiple strikes cause the design to appear layered, doubled, or even twisted. One of the most well-known examples of this type of error showed a coin that was struck 9 times, making the design almost unrecognizable but still showing clear features of the South Carolina design. That particular error coin sold for $9,000, making it one of the most valuable quarters from the state quarter series. Other types of errors found on this coin include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing or pushed to one side, and clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing due to a cutting error. These types of errors are more common than multiple strikes, but they can still be worth $100 to $500 depending on how dramatic the error is and how well the coin has been preserved. Even small mistakes like die cracks, cuts, or struck through grease can raise the value of the coin by a bit. Grading also plays a big role in the value of this quarter. If your 2000 D South Carolina quarter is in near-perfect condition, known as mint state, it could be worth money even without an error. A coin graded MS-67 or MS-68 can sell for $100 to $300, and the better the grade, the higher the price. These coins must be shiny, clean, and have no scratches or wear. If you think you have one, it might be worth sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Another important thing to look for is the coin's weight and feel. A normal quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your coin feels lighter or heavier, or looks a little different in color or size, it could be struck on the wrong type of metal or blank. These are called wrong planchet errors, and they are very rare, but if you find one, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the exact mistake. Coin collectors search for these errors in rolls of quarters from the bank, old collections, or even loose change. Sometimes the rarest coins show up where you least expect them. So if you come across a 2000 D South Carolina quarter, don't just spend it. Take a good look at it. Check the edges, the details, and the design. Use a magnifying glass if you can, and compare it with a regular quarter to see if anything looks odd. The South Carolina State quarter might be one of the most surprising finds out there. It may look normal, but one rare error could turn it into a coin worth thousands. Keep checking your change, you never know when you might find your $9,000 quarter. Our next, and fourth coin, is the 2000 D Maryland quarter. Just like the others, this coin might look pretty normal at first glance, but believe it or not, some rare versions of it have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. In fact, one special error version of this coin has been reported to be worth as much as $7,000. Yes, a simple quarter from the year 2000, with the D mint mark, could bring in serious cash, if it has the right kind of mistake or is in perfect condition. Let's break down what makes this coin valuable, what it looks like, and how you can spot a rare one. The 2000 D Maryland quarter was released as part of the 50 State Quarters program, which began in 1999. Each U.S. state had a quarter made in its honor, and Maryland was one of the coins released in the year 2000. On the back of the coin, you'll see a picture of the Maryland State House, which is the oldest state capitol still in use in the U.S. It's a beautiful design, surrounded by white oak branches, which represent the state tree. The coin also has the words, "The Old Line State," which is Maryland's nickname. It's a clean and elegant design. The D on the front of the coin stands for Denver, where this version of the coin was minted. The U.S. Mint made over 500 million Maryland quarters at the Denver Mint, so the coin by itself isn't rare. But what makes it valuable is when something goes wrong during the minting process. That's when we get what collectors call error coins, and that's where the real money can come in. One of the most valuable errors found on the Maryland quarter is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't lined up right during stamping, so the design ends up shifted to one side. Some of these coins show the design way off-center, with part of the image missing. If the date and mint mark are still visible, the coin can be worth even more. Depending on how off-center it is, the value could range from $100 up to several $1,000s. Another type of valuable error is the clipped planchet, where a piece of the coin is actually missing because of a mistake during cutting. These can look like someone took a small bite out of the coin. While they might look damaged at first, if it's a true mint error, collectors are willing to pay for it. Values for clipped planchet errors can range from $50 to $300, depending on the size of the clip and condition of the coin. There are also wrong planchet errors, where the quarter was struck on a blank meant for another coin, like a dime or foreign coin. These errors are rare but highly valuable. Some coins with these kinds of mistakes have sold for over $1,000. There's also a chance of finding a double die error, where the design looks slightly doubled in areas like the lettering or numbers. These can be hard to see without a magnifying glass, but if you spot one, it could be worth a lot. Even without major errors, a mint state Maryland quarter can still bring value. If your coin has never been used and looks shiny and new, it might be in MS66, MS67, or MS68 condition. Coins graded at this level by companies like PCGS or NGC can sell for $50 to $200 or more, depending on the demand and how perfect the coin is. If you want to check your coin at home, start by weighing it. A normal quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, it might be struck on the wrong metal. Also look for any strange lines, missing parts, or off-center features. Use a magnifying glass to look closely at the lettering and details. The more unique and strange the coin looks, without signs of damage, the more likely it is a true mint error. Many collectors hunt for these Maryland quarter errors by searching through coin rolls, old collections, or loose change. Sometimes, even a coin that's been sitting in a drawer for years can end up being worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So the next time you come across a 2000 Maryland quarter, don't spend it right away. Take a good look, check for errors, and maybe even weigh it. You never know, you might be holding onto a coin that's worth way more than just 25 cents. Our final coin in this list is the 2007 Wyoming State Quarter, and this one is another surprising coin that looks common but can be worth hundreds of dollars if it has the right kind of error. One version of this quarter with a rare mint mistake has sold for around $920, and even more in special cases. It may seem just like the rest of the state quarters, but this coin has a few things that make it different, and valuable. Let's take a closer look at what to check for, what the coin looks like, and how much yours could be worth. The Wyoming quarter was released in 2007 as part of the 50 State Quarters program. It was the 44th coin released in the series. The back of the coin features an image of a cowboy riding a bucking horse, which is a well-known symbol in Wyoming and even appears on the state's license plates. The phrase, "the Equality State," is also on the coin, honoring Wyoming's history of being the first state to give women the right to vote. The design is simple but bold. It has a strong Western look that makes it stand out. This quarter was made at both the Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D, mints. The one we're focusing on here has the D mint mark, which means it was made at the Denver Mint. The U.S. Mint produced over 250 million of the Wyoming quarters at Denver, so just like most coins in this series, they are not rare by themselves. However, some special versions with errors have been found, and these are the ones that grab the attention of collectors. One of the most famous errors found on the 2007 Wyoming quarter is known as the missing leg error. On this coin, part of the horse's front leg, or sometimes part of the rider's leg, looks faded, missing, or completely gone. This isn't because the coin is worn out. Instead, it's caused by grease or debris on the die used to stamp the coin. This mistake creates weak or missing parts in the design. Some of these missing leg error coins have sold for $100 to $300, depending on how clear the error is and the condition of the coin. There are also die chip errors, where extra metal forms bumps or blobs in the design. These chips often appear on the horse, around the legs, or near the letters. Though smaller than major errors, die chips can still raise the coin's value to $20, $50, or more, especially if they're large or in multiple places. Some collectors focus only on these kinds of small mistakes and are willing to pay for them. The rarest and most valuable Wyoming error coins are the ones that combine an error with a high grade. A coin in mint state condition, like MS67 or MS68, with a strong error like the missing leg, can sell for $500 to over $900. One example of a Wyoming quarter with a strong die error and MS68 grade was sold for $920, making it one of the most expensive known versions of this coin. Even a normal 2007 Wyoming quarter in perfect condition with no errors can still be worth money. Coins that are shiny, have no scratches, and look like they just came out of a coin roll can be worth $30 to $150, depending on their grade. That's why it's a good idea to check all your coins, even if they look normal. To check your Wyoming quarter, start by looking closely at the horse's legs and the rider. If anything looks faded, missing, or strange, you might have an error coin. Also look for extra metal blobs, dye chips, or anything off-center. Use a magnifying glass if you have one. It makes spotting small problems easier. You can also weigh the coin. It should be about 5.67 grams. If it's way off, that could mean another kind of rare error. If you think your coin is special, take it to a local coin shop or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can tell you if it's worth more than face value, and how much collectors might pay for it. So keep an eye out for the 2007 D Wyoming quarter. What looks like an ordinary cowboy and horse could turn out to be a coin worth hundreds of dollars. With the right error and condition, this quarter could be the most valuable one in your change. So there you have it, 5 rare US quarters, each with its own history, look, and collector value. Remember, these coins are worth so much because someone made a mistake or they're in incredible condition. Always get coins graded by trusted experts if you think you may have a valuable one. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more cool coin stories. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.